feature game today. We have John Jacon, also from Utica, as well as Doug Smith, providing not only technical but overall expertise on the operation of the web streaming today. Is the chat line open, Doug? Chat line is open as well. You'll be able to access our chat line, and any comments, if there's anything you want to hear or anything. I know a couple days ago we had an echo. We'd be happy to hear from you if there is any technical issue that you would like to have straightened out while you're watching. The game is getting ready. Scotland's skip, Eileen Nielsen, has signaled for a guard. Tom Killen, the Scot lead, is in position, and we're ready to go. Scotland is throwing the blue rocks. Russia throwing the red rocks. Give you the Scot lineup. Why don't you go ahead, John? Tell us the Scottish lineup.
Tom Killen is our lead this morning, with Rob McPherson throwing second rocks. Gregor Ewan and Aileen Nielsen taking control of the house and skip today.
Okay, now for Russia, pretty much the lineup they've used all weekend, and very successful keeping the games close and then just pulling ahead at the end. At lead we have Alexander Shevchenko. Second position, Svetlana Pakhmova. Playing vice skip, Marat Romanov, and the very successful skip for the Russia team, Andrei Smirnov. Okay, now Russia has also signaled for, I believe, either a corner guard or a draw to the 3 o'clock position in the house. Stone is underway and it looks good. Definitely have at least a guard. A beautiful first stone. We come to expect just perfect curling from these two teams. I've watched them all weekend, and I'll tell you that they've converted me to believing they can make anything.
Really well played game in our semifinals this morning, David, with Scotland and Russia really controlling both their games throughout.
Well, what I've seen from Scotland, the first game I watched for Scotland, if I could say a team threw 100% for 6 ends, Scotland threw 100% for 6 ends. They didn't make an error. And very, very tight game against the USA #1 team, with Scotland winning it by 1 point after 6 ends. Scott lead Tom Killen has put his second stone pretty much on the 4-foot. Beautiful job right at the tee line. And Skip Smirnov is signaling, get that stone out of there. And it's Alexander Shevchenko ready in the hack.
No time limit in today's games, Dave. We'll see a full 8 ends.
Well, then the game probably will just move right along nicely. Lead Shevchenko's stone is underway. If it holds the line it's on now, he's going to get a really nice run back on the shot rock and a little bit of a roll over towards his guard. Again, you just get used to them making perfect shots time after time, and we're happy to describe a lot of, if you're watching the game, you'll see the teams urging each other on with a lot of positive body language, a lot of positive comments during every shot of the game. It's great to see that the sport is the sport. The Scottish second, Rob McPherson, is now into position. And again, from the broom, it seems to be Eileen Nielsen is asking for that shot stone to be removed. Probably a roll towards the center line afterwards.
That one's curling quite a bit.
It is. There's a little curl. He's making good contact, but I don't know if it's going to hang around. Okay, shot, rocks removed. What do we have on that side? Is it biting over there, John?
It looks like it might be just on, Dave, from our overhead view.
All right.
Ice in Utica has been running fairly straight in comparison to the ice that these teams normally see at World Championship caliber events, where they're looking for a minimum of 4-foot curl, and talking to some of the team coaches, they've seen 6 to 8 feet curl at some of the facilities.
I think 6 to 8 feet curl would be a fun game, but you have to consider they're doing without sweeping. And I know I can't make a shot without sweepers, and I'm so envious of the skill being demonstrated here, shot after shot this weekend. Okay, Svetlana Takmeva is in the, and I apologize for rough pronunciation. As many times as I look at the names, it always comes up slightly different when it comes out of my mouth. Svetlana has made a beautiful removal of what was sitting as shot rock.
And now no opportunity for Scotland to use that rock at the back of the house.
Kind of looks like what Scotland's plan is now is
deny the corner guard.
I think peel that corner guard and roll across the house. Scotland attempting to remove one of the lone stone in play. Russia has one just guarding the 5 o'clock position on the house, but there is no stone actually counting at this point. Shot is underway.
Good weight for the takeout.
Nice weight. Going to just skin by. A very, very uncharacteristic. I hate to say it that way, but that's probably the first shot I've seen Scotland miss this weekend.
Well, we have seen the rocks running a little bit straighter when moving from the inside out rather than from the wings back to the center.
Okay. Well, yeah, I know the skips are all going to recalibrate their calculations by that nanometer, and probably won't see that miss again in this game. It gives Russia an excellent opportunity now to put stones in position, and hopefully set up to score 2. One compliment to the Russian team in general is they have about the smoothest deliveries we have seen on the ice. It's just as smooth as silk.
That was really tight ice, David, for a draw behind. Do you think the intention was to play the raise here?
I thought the intention all along was to play the raise. And it just touched the guard. So now Russia's,
so maybe fooled a little bit by how straight that takeout stayed.
Possibly. Good point, John. Again, they know what shots they want, but sometimes, unless they signal handle, we're left wondering if they're calling a tight in-turn takeout or a wide out-turn draw. So, you know, unless they don't have to do a lot of signaling because they intuitively know what each other is going to throw, intuitively know what calls the skip is going to make.
So the double peel here really not optimum because that would leave Scotland's rock as a guard, just replacing that center line guard.
Good point. What I believe is the attempt now is Scotland trying to remove the center line, the guard more towards center belonging to Russia. And again, that stone is removed. Shooter rolling over to a far 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock position, biting the 12-foot top 12. Russia making a very conservative call, electing to remove that stone. Essentially now, with this election, to have Marat Romanov take this stone out, I think the election here is to go for a blank. Very conservative play in the first end, which you come to expect at this level of competition.
Ice will change from draw to draw, so getting a feel for how the rocks are running today.
And this stone is right on the nose and rolls harmlessly out of play. Again, now with one guard in play, I believe the call for Scotland will be to peel that guard and roll across the house, essentially leaving nothing in play.
So tighten up the broom quite a bit from the first attempt at this runoff.
And Gregor Ewan now sliding into position for his first shot. I'll correct that, for his second shot. And as John pointed out, Eileen Nielsen has tightened that ice up. Stone is underway. Takeout weight.
That's curling nicely. That'll be a well-made shot. They're going to look for a little more roll out of this, though.
And this stone may very well end up in the house. You know, now it's rolling with enough momentum to take itself out. And I believe Scotland probably, again, with that conservative call, keeping the house clean. Russia with the hammer, but really with nothing in play. They're going to probably draw the corners of the house and hope for a miss on Scotland's side to give them, again, the opportunity to draw for 2 with their last stone. So one of those classical ends that you see in championship play, with both teams feeling out the ice and testing each other's skills.
A little strong with the draw.
Okay, I'm going to have to step back for a second. I want to check a lineup on the Russian team. I'm not sure if we have the right.
Sorry. So with the rings wide open, Eileen Nielsen will look to place a draw on the center line, top 4, top of the button, and force Russia to make the long roll if they want to make the blank here in the first end. Line's looking really nice on this shot. Needs to come into the house. And it comes up just short. So not wanting to leave Scotland any opportunity to place a rock behind cover, Russia will remove this, look for the peel.
Okay, I'm back. My lineup was incorrect. I've made the adjustment. And, apologize to our listeners from Russia, or our fans listening, rooting for Russia, and that I had the order wrong, but I did have the correct. I had the correct players, just in the wrong position.
Well, I know the chat room's just been exploding with comments about that.
Again? Yes, yesterday they could hear the echo in my head.
This is going to cross over, and it's going to be, well, they're going to catch it all, but really not going to remove that guard, just replace it. And it opens up the door for Scotland to draw one under cover.
Okay, so Eileen Nielsen may very well make the decision here to try that draw. Now there's a little fear here, so she may not do that. If she elects to throw the draw and comes up short, this gives the Russia team an opportunity for a split, which may get 2 stones in. So, you know, as we said, at this level of play, what you don't want to make is a mistake. So, but if she puts a stone in the house that they must remove, it pretty much takes that split out of play. But again, decisions in the beginning. can make a big difference in how a game is going to move forward. What do you think, John?
Well, the Russian stone appears to be at least a foot out of the rings, Dave. So that's a good ways off to make a split and try and keep it under control. I think the draw here is the play to try and force Russia's hand.
Okay. Well, I'm fully confident that she can make the draw. And boy, if she gets that draw half hidden, Russia will really regret leaving that guard up front. Stone is underway. If it has house weight, it has just enough weight for the house.
It really needs to curl to get behind cover.
Okay. It is house weight, so as you said.
Boy, right to the tee line. That's
to the tee.
So a great practice draw for the skip, but just need a little more curl to get under cover.
Okay, now the blank is in play, and technical score-wise, I believe that this is simply a win-loss, and points are not important in this game. So I would guess that the blank would be the choice shot there. Whereas in our earlier round-robin competitions, they were counting ends won as well as victories.
This is fairly tight ice for expecting the rock to roll off, David.
The plan may very well be to stay. Smirnoff's stone is underway. Certainly through takeout weight.
Holding its line well.
Holding its line well, is going to get a piece and run out. And he'll successfully have blanked the end. So the end of the first end of the championship of the gold medal game. We have no score, and Russia retains the hammer. As we scan across all the games, there have been no. We can give you one scoring update from sheet 1, which is USA 2 throwing the Red Rocks against Slovakia throwing the Blue Rocks. They have blanked the first end.
It's nice to see that with a 6-sheet club that all the teams entered into the event get the opportunity to play 2 games on Sunday.
Okay, so what we want to do now, I'll give you a lineup for each sheet. Sheet 1, USA 2 playing Slovakia. Sheet 2, we have Korea 1 throwing the Red Rocks against Toronto. Sheet 3, of course, our feature game, you see Russia throwing the Yellow Rocks against Scotland, which is our gold medal game with the gold stones, kind of like that tie-in. Sheet 4, we have USA 1 playing Quebec, USA 1 throwing the red stones.
And they've just posted a score of 1 for Team USA 1.
Okay. Now sheet 4 is our bronze medal game, because as you know, the winner of the sheet 3 game will be the gold medal winner, and the runner-up in the sheet 3 game will be the silver medalist. So sheet 4, they're playing for the bronze medal. Sheet 5, we have Bradford and Korea 2, Bradford throwing the Red Rocks. And finally, sheet 6, USA 3 throwing the Red Rocks against Ottawa.
Play still in the first end on sheet number 6, but we come to the conclusion of the first end on sheet number 5, and the Korea team has scored 2 points.
There we are. And as scores are being posted, we'll keep you updated. Sheet 4, they have posted 1 for USA 1. So the score on sheet 4 is now USA 1, Quebec 0, and they're also starting their second end. Okay, now Tom Killen's first rock for Team Scotland, gliding down into a guard position. Just beautifully thrown with nice guard weight.
Do you think we'll see another wide open end, David, to try and feel out both ends of the sheet here?
My guess the position of the stone, of the Russia leads first stone, is going to dictate that strategy exactly, John. If Romanov's first stone comes in short of the house, then we know the game is on. Comes in the house, they're probably looking for a hit and roll type of end. So this stone coming down now, position of this stone will very much dictate.
Looks like guard weight.
Beautifully thrown, guard weight, guarding the corner of the 4 nicely. So we now have 2 guards in play. First end, first rocks, second end for Team Russia versus Team Scotland. Tom Killen again in position to deliver his second rock. I would surmise from the line, John, looks like Eileen Nielsen's calling for a draw around that center line guard.
I believe so.
So getting aggressive right away. Stone is underway.
A little tight to the broom.
A little tight. The weight is house weight. It most likely will just touch the center line guard, now opening up the middle. And advantage Russia with that shot, because now there are 3 corner guards. Russia with the hammer is electing now to draw in and bring play into the house so that those guards stay out there. And they'll have the opportunity to get stones into position.
Be interesting to see if we get any more movement of the rocks moving from the center line out, coming back to the home side, as opposed to the straighter ice that we saw moving away to the scoreboard side.
Well, that fresh pebble first end, and everybody worrying about having enough weight, because we know first end traditionally, when they don't practice on the ice before the game, first end traditionally, the stones are a little slower than they will be later in the 3rd and 4th ends. As you saw with the stone just thrown, we did get 2 feet of curl, but the stone did come to rest as a center line guard.
And a stone that Russia could potentially tap up unless Scotland elects to remove it.
Which I think you're correct. I think Eileen Nielsen's looking for a nose hit to...
And a nose hit here would really give them strong control of the front of the house.
Absolutely, which would turn this back into a hitting end rather than a drawing end. So, again, at this level of play, Skip's making traditional strategic decisions that you see at the top level of play throughout curling. Taking full advantage of the free guard zone and making decisions that, if executed perfectly, will give them a really successful outcome. Okay. So, Rob McPherson, second for the Scott team, makes that removal nicely. Rolls to the side, covering the corner of the 12-foot, however, and the center of the house is wide open for a draw from Svetlana, Russian center.
I hadn't noticed if this is part of their normal protocol, but Gregor Ewan down here at the house end of the ice, consulting strategy with Aileen rather than being down at the far end with the rest of the team as rocks are being thrown. Not sure if that's their normal protocol or if they're just having a chat here as the game starts up.
I would have to say that I have seen them do both. Both stay in a group at the shooting end as well as freely come back and forth to consult. And Svetlana's second stone, I see she's corrected the amount of weight that she threw, but again, while coming a little bit deeper, does not get to the house. Eileen Nielsen, Scottish skip, again signaling for that guard to be gone. Getting a little dicey there now because any kind of an angle hit on that guard is going to cause a jam to one side or the other, and may very well leave the hit Russian stone in the house. So again, accuracy here is as important as weight. This has to be a very precise hit.
Well, this one a little tight to the broom, David, and this might hit on the wrong side of the object stoner now. Bring that Russian rock into play, as you said.
Sometimes I wish I didn't predict disaster so easily. But what we just saw, folks, you may see it on your monitor very clearly, is the jam that we were talking about, giving Russia now a counter ahead of the tee line. And as you're facing the house would be the 3 o'clock position. And Russia skip, Andrei Smirnov, now asking for a draw to the other side of the house. And I'll tell you, if they make this draw, the 2 is in play. Again, folks, take the opportunity to watch the beautiful, smooth delivery of the Russian team there. Expert coached. Obviously, all 4 having the same delivery is such an advantage. Okay, Svetlana Stone underway, but it does look a little toasty there, John. Do you think it's going to make it through?
It does. The line was nice with just a couple feet less weight. That one may well have brought that corner guard into play.
Okay, well now the advantage goes back to Scotland. They make this removal now, right back where we were.
And a roll to the edge of the forefoot would really put the pressure on Russia.
Absolutely correct. Isn't it interesting how when you have curlers doing the commentary, we all know enough to be quiet while they're shooting, even if they can't hear us. Okay, stone is underway. Gregory Ewan's first stone, attempting a removal on the Russia's rock in 12 foot.
Interesting choice of turn there.
Well, you're absolutely right. And Eileen Nielsen may have been playing for a nicer angle on an inside roll, or may have been playing for the roll she got, which was slightly outside and partially buried behind the far guard, which is also a Scottish blue stone. Okay, folks, you're not hearing fireworks out there. What you're hearing is a
quintuple takeout.
A quintuple takeout on sheet 1, which also managed to clean many stones off of sheet 2. Okay.
So another in-turn takeout, David.
Right. Shevchenko's stone is going to make contact and then roll into back 4 position.
Easily accessible for Team Scotland.
Easily accessible. Again, the plus was a beautifully thrown and beautifully made takeout. However, at this point, Eileen Nielsen signaling for a takeout on a wide open Russian stone in the back 4, most likely hoping for a roll as there are guards on each corner of the 4-foot.
Tapping her shoulder, which is normally an indication for a little bit up weight on the shot.
And as we've seen in other games, John, Gregory Ewan can throw every shot. Really accomplished. He's one of the few curlers that sits at an angle
I was just noticing that.
But today I noticed he's using somebody as a brace. Games past, he hasn't had a brace person in the brace position behind him. He hits that stone right on the nose. Scotland now sitting in the back four. Shot rock. Russia's still having the hammer, but now forced to play a chase scenario as they're trying to keep Scotland from getting into a steal position for this end.
So taking a little more ice for this hit, and I would imagine they're going to try and bring their corner guard back into play here.
One of the two corner guards. Again, the choice of turn, making the shot slightly tougher, but probably for good reason, I don't suppose to second guess a successful skip. Alexander Shevchenko's shot is underway. Moving it pretty good weight. Clear the stone. I don't think the shooter's going to stay around, Johnny.
No.
Okay, so advantage back to Scotland as now they have an opportunity to plug the middle or even sneak one in. Again, just like chess, you know, if you have that first move advantage and you don't sacrifice it, you're in position to dictate play. And Eileen Nielsen, as we've seen all weekend, has been in that position. It's a very, very strong performing.
From the indication of her hand gestures, David, it looks like they might even be considering trying to split this rock onto the house in order to force Russia to play a draw for one.
And you may be right. It's always a good option. Kind of, I don't know if I would take that shot with my first stone. That split would be more fun in my mind for the second stone.
True.
Make the Russia skip Smirnov throw takeout with his first stone.
Or they could have been discussing the plan B.
Right. Absolutely. God bless those plan Bs. But, you know, make that other skip throw a takeout with his first stone and then try to throw a finesse shot with the second stone. Sometimes it's a good technique.
Of course, the difference in this game is there's no changing the strategy on the fly. Once the rock is released, you're at the mercy of the ice and the stone.
Correct. She has nice weight, and I think
that is going to come in contact with that guard.
Come in contact, John. I think you're correct with that call, and I think both stones are going to be in the house. One in. Oh, just beautifully thrown.
Under the corner guard.
Shot rock behind the corner guard, and splitting the other Scottish stone into the top 12 on the opposite side of the house. Perfectly even, no double setup. And Scotland now sitting nicely even without the hammer.
So the question here would be on this hit, David, whether to try and take the long roll all the way across the house and underneath the two corners, or to try and bring play back to the center to hopefully be able to set up a double with Russia's last stone.
And my answer would be yes. Both excellent options. Removing, he cannot simply remove that stone and roll out now. He has to remove and stay if he wants to dictate play. And unless things change here, the Russian skip is going to be forced to take one. He makes an absolutely perfectly executed roll to the corner of the 4-foot behind shot rock. Of course, I'm wrong. But as anybody who knows me on the curling ice, I'm frequently wrong. And again, what I'd love to see, every shot is beautifully thrown and perfectly made.
And again, electing to take the injury.
I did notice that while the Russian vice and the Russian skip are both wearing red hats, one of those red hats seems to be wearing the emblem of the St. Louis Cardinals.
I noticed that myself, yeah.
Love to have a conversation about if he's a baseball fan. I haven't had that opportunity yet, and I believe it's the third Alexander Shevchenko wearing the Major League hat, as I can see the emblem on the back of his hat. Okay.
Curling nicely. Needs a little more curl to control that roll.
Andrei Smirnoff stone is going to just breeze by the dread silent takeout. And now advantage definitely to Scotland. Again, as you pointed out earlier, John, stone's running fairly straight inside out.
So we'll be looking for this stone to tight guard or just a biter to force Team Russia to the cold draw. Because with all these rocks at the top of the house, you really can't take the chance of a hit that does not roll deeper onto the rings.
Oh, I agree. But the aggressive play here would be just bite the 12 foot to actually have 3 counters in position for the last shot. Again, not saying that the Russia skip Andrei Smirnoff won't make his last shot, but you want to put that pressure on. You want to ratchet that up just a touch. You know, gold medal play at this level against a solid team like Scotland. Pressure would be an advantage. Okay, Eileen Nielsen's stone underway. Coming to view momentarily on your screen. And as she throws a good spinning stone, they tend to travel. It'll be a guard, giving Andrei Smirnoff the opportunity to try the same shot if he elects to, or to throw a draw. Present time, though, Scotland sitting 2 without the hammer and has just thrown a stone that does a good job of plugging up the front.
Looks like they're feeling more confident with the hit weight than the draw weight. 8 foot is readily accessible from both turns here.
Again, I think the conservative decision at this level probably takes precedence. Eliminating 1 stone rolling in, just 12-14 inches probably would be enough to be shot rock. Eliminating 1 stone and not rolling in at all or rolling out is only giving up a steal of 1 second end. Still plenty of time in an 8-end game. So Skip Smirnoff now into position, setting up his stone, lining up a shot. As you said, John, throwing that in-turn takeout. They've tightened up the ice a little bit. Throws the same weight on the same line. He'll get it with himself. Okay, stone is looking good. He's already been signaled by
this is over curling, David.
Alexander Shevchenko that he'll be taking that stone out. But as I said, not enough of a roll. While he bites the house, the score is now Scotland 1, Russia 0 after 2 ends completed. Hey, Doug, just let me know when you're ready. We'll give the scores across the 6 sheets.
David, we were talking earlier about some of the opportunities that that folks local to the Utica Curling Club would have an opportunity to try curling coming up in the near future. 2 opportunities. One would be the Charity Challenge, which is always a fun event here at the club. Why don't you go ahead and update the scores?
Okay. We ready for an update, Doug? Okay. Let's go to sheet 1. Sheet 1, USA number 2. Blanked the first end and scored 1 in the second end. So the score on sheet 1 after 2 ends, USA 1, Slovakia 0. We'll move over to sheet 2, where we have Korea number 1 at the end of one end, ahead 2-0 over Toronto. You know the score here on sheet 3, Scotland 1, Russia 0 at the end of 2. Sheet 4, our bronze medal match, USA 1-0 over Quebec. Sheet 5, Korea number 2 has now taken a 3-0 lead over Bradford after 2 ends. And sheet 6, Ottawa 1, USA 3-0 after 1 end completed. And Doug, is that lineup, is that scoreboard going to stay up during the? Oh, excellent. So again, you can see those scores on. Oh, okay, I see. Scores in between ends we will show you so that you can keep updated on all the scores.
So Scotland comes in top 4, and this is an evolution that we've seen in the free guard strategy now. Rather than throw the center line guard up first and then come behind, to put the rock into play first and let the team with the hammer dictate whether it's going to be a wide open end or whether it's going to be a free-for-all with a lot of rocks in play.
And again, I can't tell you based on the position of the broom if Mark Romanoff is being asked to remove that stone, but we'll know in a second. He is being asked to remove that stone. And his stone, he's already
this will be a nose
on the nose. Beautifully thrown, beautiful execution, perfect result. Okay, Tom Killen sliding into position now for Scotland to throw his second stone. All right, you know, you think they'll be taking it out, John?
I think they will. You know, a more aggressive call might be to just bump this one back to back 4 and force play into the house. But it looks like the straight takeout, and just to lay top of the house is the call.
Russia has the stone firmly in the 8-foot. Tom Killen getting ready to deliver a takeout punch. Stone is underway, well thrown. Getting a little curl now. Seen curl on the center of the sheet. He'll make contact, and the shooter will roll a bit, just a bit. Now the shooter's half in the 12. You know, John, they make a couple more hits, and they'll have themselves a nice guard.
Absolutely. But, you know, protecting the pin, no doubt.
No doubt. Okay. Skip Smirnoff is asking Romanoff to remove that stone.
And certainly looking for some roll here from where the broom is placed.
And sometimes it's just so you can change up the shot, you know. You don't want it to be too repetitious, kind of wear a groove into the ice. So you're right, he's calling just a bit more ice. And,
well, this one got turned in just a little.
okay, it will make nice contact and about what we call a half stone hit. Probably a little roll over, and it does roll nicely over to about the 7 o'clock position.
Fantastic shot.
And we've come to see and expect these shots, and we've never been disappointed. Okay, what has Skip Nielsen got in mind now, John?
Weight really held that last stone. A simple removal here. Okay. And bring play back to the center of the sheet.
There you go, as she signaled. Good call, John.
It's all in the anticipation, Dave.
That's what I've been told. Rob McPherson getting ready to deliver the first of his 2 stones.
I'd be interested to talk to some of the players, Dave, about their choice of delivery stick. You see some going with a stick that's more the length of a traditional broom, and some are really quite long.
Well, a Russian team seems to favor the ultra long stick. Now, Scotland removed. Russia's shot rocket is now sitting on the edge of the 12, again at the 8 o'clock position. And I think we're going to see another one of those wide open hit ends. Again, that being dictated by that draw to the top 4-footed first stone. What I've seen with the Russia delivery sticks is that with that long length, they get well behind the stone before delivery and have a beautiful pendulum motion of delivering the stone just perfectly on line every time. They start with the handle straight, so it's just a bit of a flick at the end to get the proper spin on the handle.
This one needs to curl a little bit.
And it is. Okay, I believe we'll end up with a corner guard now. Whoa,
just touching the rings.
Just biting. Just biting.
So now Scotland will have to make the decision whether this is a rock worth chasing.
And from the signal, Eileen Nielsen's looking for a hit and roll towards the center for Rob McPherson for his second shot.
No, Tim, you don't need to tell me that. Thank you.
We hear voices on the ice. You're listening to Team 2, Team USA 2, who is in position on sheet 1. Pretty close to the condenser mic that picks up the on ice.
Does a great job of picking up sound all across the sheet. You know, we've heard conversations earlier in our game. We were able to hear a little bit of the discussion from sheet 3 and even sheet 4. So,
okay, now
and no 7-second delay.
No, we talked about that yesterday. Okay, Scotland has made contact with that stone, leaving a guard at the extreme side of the house, but
they really would have preferred to roll off there.
I agree. The turn they called would have given, normally with a little more curl, would have given them plenty of roll. But man, again, as you pointed out earlier, those inside-out shots are running just a little straighter today. Okay, Skip Smirnoff is now asking. That's I believe Svetlana, right? Asking her to deliver a draw behind the lone guard in the house. He has tightened the ice up. She's giving the warm-up pendulum motion to the stone, and her stone is underway. The weight seems to be house weight. It's fairly close to the guard, but not getting that curl, John, as you pointed out. Stone is, for this level of play, essentially wide open. Gregor Ewan now sliding in position, and we'll most likely see a removal with an attempt to roll again towards the center of the house.
And taking advantage of the straighter ice by playing the out turn here.
Right. Again, liking that inside-out call. As said, Eileen Nielsen has dialed in the line now, so she pretty much knows what to call. Stone's underway. Gregor Ewan's stone is...
Oh, this one's curling quite a bit.
Okay, it is going to just squeak by the guard, make the takeout, and actually sit behind the guard for a biter in the extreme 8 o'clock position behind a guard. So let's see what Mr. Smirnoff has in mind now. Okay, it looks to me like the ice he's calling is saying that he's looking for a bit of a roll, and the hit he's calling looks like he's looking for a jam to take out shot rock and take that guard out of play.
Sure, run over the top and have the raised stone roll off to the left.
Okay.
Quite a lot of house for them to roll across. So there is a good opportunity to keep this shooter in play.
Okay, well, Shevchenko's stone will make contact. I don't know if both stones are going to roll out of the house, and they aren't. And, makes it. His shooter rolls into a biting position, top 12, at about the 7 o'clock position.
And Scotland's stone appears to be just off the rings.
Right, and my guess would be another hit. And a tight call with the broom, so looking for a good solid throw from Gregor Ewan. As you pointed out, John, with not a lot of curl in the ice this morning, margin for error is very, very, very low.
David, there might be an opportunity here if you hit this at about the if you hit it just right, you might actually be able to remove the Scotland's corner guard over there on the edge too, if you catch it on the backside as it goes by.
Right. Well, pretty much we're going to have us a nose hit with a little bit of motion towards the house. Okay, rolling nicely into the house. Again, full 12. About the 5 o'clock position. I believe Skip Smirnoff is now going to remove that stone. Calling a center line in turn for Alexander Shevchenko. Tightened up the ice a bit now. Maybe hoping for that roll all the way across behind Scotland's guard on the other side of the house.
Coming up the nose.
Right, actually going to roll just an inch or so, again farther to the right. Full 12. And the blank or score of 1 seems to be in play here.
We got a little more movement out of that stone than some of the other rocks we've seen played on that line.
Saw that. And you know, we may in fact be developing some curl as the pebble wears in. Now, our own ice technicians have kind of gone to school for the past 2 weeks with the Korean teams practicing here every day. Korean coaches and players have given us some very valuable input on the differences in preparation for the wheelchair events. And hopefully we've met their expectations. Certainly not seeing what we like to term squirrely ice. We haven't seen any of that all weekend. Stones have run very true.
David, I just noticed that Team Scotland was, it seems as though they're all using the same delivery stick, which I would imagine is something that they do in order to try and equalize everything between all of the different players. You take as many variables out of play as you can.
And it is not of the length of the sticks being used by Russia. And you're right, it seems like they may have 1 or 2 sticks out there. Because I did notice that Eileen carried the stick to the other end, but of course she's the skip. She'll be throwing the last stone anyhow. And you may be right, John. Now that I look around, there's only 1 Scottish delivery device out there. Okay, Skip Smirnoff getting into position. He may in fact be looking for, he's going to be throwing an in-turn takeout. Maybe he's hoping for that little bit of roll to take advantage of that 1 guard. Stone's underway.
That's big weight.
That's weight, and it's...
Which is what they need to hold that line to get under that corner.
He may, in fact, get both stones. 1, no, he's rolling right out. Okay, now, if I were the skip for Scotland, I'd be trying to tuck 1 in behind that stone. And because it's not counting. And force the Russian skip to take 1. But she may, in fact, Eileen Nielsen may, in fact, just be throwing a practice draw here, trying to get something top 8, top 4. And in the center of the house, because then, as you know, for a blank, that stone would have to travel. He'd have to take that stone out and roll 6, 7 feet in either direction.
Well, Andrei Smirnov certainly showed us with his last stone that he can carry the weight to roll a stone wherever he needs to.
Well, let's see how this develops. Stone's underway. Looks like it has house weight, John. Again, she throws a lot of revolutions on her stones, so they carry quite a distance. And looks like at least 4 foot, squeaking into full 4 foot position.
And that's a nice shot. To anytime you can throw the practice draw to get a feel for how the ice is running for when you really need to make that critical shot later in the game. It's a good thing to do.
It is. It is. Again, envious of the fact that they can make these shots with no help from any sweeping. Okay, Skip Smirnoff, almost a tongue twister. Skip Smirnoff slides into position and getting ready to deliver that last stone. From the looks of the ice, he is hoping to roll out. And as we mentioned yesterday, one of the things we learned was that our Utica stones, our golden stones on sheet 3, had to have the handles machined so to make them easier to fit the delivery devices being used by the wheelchair curlers. All right.
He likes it.
He likes it, and it is going to make decent contact, and I'm pretty sure that thing is rolling out there, John. Again, masterfully thrown. Okay, we have a blank end for end number 3. We have a blank end for end number 3. And our score continues to be on sheet 3, our gold medal round here at the 8th Annual U.S. Open International Wheelchair Curling Bonspiel. Our score continues to be Scotland 1, Russia 0. Russia has retained the hammer to begin the 4th end with a beautiful peel. What do you think, Doug? You want to go over the scores? Okay. Let's go back over to sheet 1 now. And sheet 1, at the end of 3 ends, USA number 2 is leading Slovakia 2-0. Okay, sheet 2. Korea number 1 at the end of 2 ends is leading 2-1 over Toronto. Sheet 4, our bronze medal game at the end of 2 ends, USA number 1 leading Quebec 2-0. Sheet number 5, Korea number 2 has now moved out to a 4-0 lead over Bradford after completing 3 ends. And sheet 6, USA 3 continuing their late Bonspiel surge. They are leading 3-1 over Ottawa at the completion of 2 ends, playing the 3rd.
Always nice to finish strong and have good memories of a Sunday.
If I'm going to do anything, I'd love to make my last shot, win or lose. Okay. So what's happening out on sheet 3, John?
Well, lead rock underway, center guard called for. Well, I could be mistaken. This one's coming into the house.
Yeah, I think they kind of like the way that last end went. You know, it gets later and later in the game, and if Scotland gets to a position here where they can force Russia to take one at the level of play we're seeing, they can play out a few blank ends, take one in the 8th end, and go home with a gold medal.
Now this one's a little higher than maybe they would have want to see that rock come. Typically, if you're going to bring the play into the house with the first rock, you're going to want to bring it in top 4.
Right, and as you see, Skip Smirnoff looks like he's signaling a takeout. Looks like he's going to be happy with playing another wide open end.
Well, with the score as tight as it is, he's got plenty of time to wait for an opportunity.
This is true. Okay.
Now, if this rolls off to the corner, then we could see a little more action in this end.
Okay, that stone has been removed. Russian stone has rolled to a biter position at the somewhere around the 3 o'clock position, but in front of the tee line. And Skip Nielsen is asking for its removal.
So as long as Russia wants to play conservatively, Scotland seems to be willing to let the game progress that way.
Starting to look like a mid-70s Briar final here, folks, with playing the fourth end, 1 point on the board. Little update for you on sheet 4, our bronze medal game. Quebec has scored 1 point in the third. USA has the hammer now, coming into the fourth with a 2-1 lead. Okay, what do we have here, John?
Well, we've got some breeze, David.
Oh, the dread silent takeout. Tom Killen's intern takeout sliding harmlessly by.
And now Team Russia will look to split play in the house and try and generate 2 or perhaps even 3 points here in this end.
I think you're right. I think what they're going to do now is just simply put stones in the house, knowing full well that stones have to be in the house because Scotland has rarely missed 2 shots in one end. Okay, lead Romanoff stone looks a little warm coming down, but
it'll stay, but it's going to slide behind the tee line.
As we say, it's biting in just behind the tee, far side of the house from second shot now. So Skip Nielsen's asking for that removal, maybe a little action towards, maybe a little roll towards the center of the house, and eventually work the stones over to a position where they may get a bailout double takeout sometime later in the end. Okay, Rob McPherson settling in. Rob's first stone underway. Again,
throwing the out turn.
Right, throwing the out turn. The pre-signal from Skip Nielsen was right on the money, and the stone is right on the money with a little roll towards the center of the house. Okay, Skip Smirnoff wisely choosing to remove that rock, probably hoping for a little bit of an outside roll to keep this end both active and interesting.
Not taking the same turn as Scotland chose to throw.
No. And we're seeing Svetlana again making their pre-shot motion. There's that pendulum motion, and again you'll see just a slick delivery.
And it's just a little bit of a flick that releases the stone. It doesn't seem like she's giving that much more of a push with on the delivery than she is with her practice. Oh my!
Oh my! What we just saw was a very quiet takeout with no sound being made by contact. So now advantage back to Scotland because Skip Nielsen is now asking Rob McPherson remove that second stone in the second counting position belonging to Russia and give Scotland the opportunity to sit 2 in the house, which, as you know, even without the hammer, definitely puts the pressure back on Russia. Some of the unsung heroes out on the ice today, John, you notice on the side of each sheet, there's a person standing motionless with a towel or some other cloth in their hand, and their job is to get every stone into position immediately, get that stone clean, set the handle, and wait for the shooter to make their...
It really helps keep play moving right along. And again, another missed takeout. This is unusual compared to the level of play that we've seen thus far.
Oh, absolutely agreed. I don't know if they're upping their weight. I don't know if they're just calling little technically more difficult shots. Skip Nielsen may very well have been calling for a corner hit with a roll towards the center. But
advantage back to Team Russia.
Advantage back to Team Russia. If they make this hit and stick, they'll be sitting 2 with the hammer. A little less weight this time. Contact will be made. We'll see what happens.
They're going to get a little roll
afterwards.
to the outside. Oh, maybe.
I think they're going to get a lot of roll to the outside. Oh. And, 2 biters now. Russia's sitting with a biter at 9 o'clock and a biter at 3 o'clock.
And with 3 now in play, you can't afford to ignore either one of these stones.
If play progresses the way it has, you will see 2 points being hung at the end of this end. But of course, any little bobble on either team, and that changes the entire characteristic of the end.
So it looks like maybe we're changing the turn here, David. Broom is right on the rock, but on the inside of the rock.
And as you are correct, there is one delivery device out there for the Scottish team. Okay, Gregor Ewan in position to deliver. As you see, he is using an angle set for his chair and also using somebody to brace. So, all right, take out weight with throwing the in turn.
Which is the turn that they have been playing on the stone. They tightened up the ice significantly.
Almost nose position for the broom, and yet still that stone is rolling to the back, and it looks like Russia is sitting 1 with a Scottish stone way in the back of the 12 in play, but I don't even know if it's touching the rings.
But an opportunity to use to throw one top 4 and have something as a catcher. Okay.
We're doing a little technical adjusting of our soundboard as we're getting through here. Again, playing the 4. Okay.
So Doug tells us we're too much like golf announcers and not enough like football announcers.
Well, yeah, it's starting to sound a little bit like NPR radio here with everybody talking quietly. So he's looking for a bit higher level, and usually I've been accused of talking too loud and too much. So for me, this is a rare compliment that I have actually kept my voice under control this morning.
So the draw here, David, was taken to the wings rather than to the center of the sheet.
Correct. Giving Skip Nielsen a little tougher call here, because again, asking Gregor Ewan to make this hit but get that stone to roll to the middle, and calling almost, Broom right in the middle of the stone. So she's seeing that those stones are traveling very straight in the inside out throw. Could be throwing an in-turn takeout, and stone's underway.
That one looked like it got started a little bit on the line.
Okay. And he will make contact with the stone, and he will roll into a nice position in the house.
That's a beautiful position.
Beautiful position for a number of reasons. One reason being that it did bring the opportunity to have both counting stones closer together, which might make a double possible for the Scottish team later on. Also, there is a blue stone, a Scottish stone in the back of the house. So unless a precision takeout is made, the takeout thrown by Russia might just end up jamming blue on blue and giving Scotland a counter in the back of the house.
So for Russia, the decision is whether to hit this and roll back off to the side of the house, to the left-hand side of the house, or to attempt more of a nose hit and clear that biter off of the back.
Right. Okay, and calling an out-turn takeout. Broom is positioned off the center line, so
it looks like we're going for the roll.
Definitely going for the roll. But again, the stone's running so straight off the center line that nothing is a given anymore. Okay, shooter goes out. Shot stone goes out.
Maybe a little more weight than they were looking for on that shot, David?
Possibly. Definitely didn't get the hit that Skip Smirnoff was looking for. Okay, now Eileen Nielsen has the opportunity to remove that counter and put Russia back into that position where they have to blank the end and or score 1 point. I don't know, fourth end, what would you do, John? Would you take the one?
Well, always good to have control in the even ends, David. So not a bad time to get yourself on the board.
Good input. Again, fourth end, plenty of time, plenty of playing time left, but and controlling the fourth, the sixth, and the eighth end sometimes gives you the opportunity to make a shot that they can't answer with and win the game. Okay, Eileen's in position. Gregor Ewan's got the broom down. Again, tight ice. And Stone is underway.
With the outturn.
All right, no signal yet.
Quiet takeout weight.
Usually by now we've gotten a signal from somebody saying, nice, looking pretty good shot. Makes the shot, rolls to the back of the house, and taps that hanger in the back, and now Team Scotland sitting one in the back 12. Again, those hangers come into play. Those are my favorite stones in curling, as anybody knows that curls against me. They usually accuse me of just being lazy, not sweeping them out, but I always say tactically that's a very good stone.
Well, the advantage for Russia there was that it did contact that hanger with just enough weight to clear it over the back line. So now, rather than this hit potentially jamming and freezing on that rock that just outside the house, now they can do a straight peel this rock right off.
Right, and I believe that the blank again is in play. Skip Smirnoff probably wants to keep his shooter in the house and hope for a very rare miss from Skip Nielsen and take an opportunity to score two. But if he rolls out here and Skip Nielsen throws one in, he'll probably be just as happy to make that hit and roll out as well. Or as we said, possibly just make that decision, that aggressive decision to go for the...
Well, this one's going to need to curl, David.
This one is going to need to curl. This is going to make contact and roll out. There's the contact, there's the roll. So the house is essentially empty. No stones in play. Skip Nielsen looking directly at us now, so we'll probably get an idea. Again, I believe she's going to make that, what I call that practice draw. Just get the feel for the ice and get the feel for the weight. So come the 6th, 7th, and 8th end when she has to make that critical draw, she's had some practice and she's comfortable. Again, that's almost an advantage to have the opportunity just to throw that nice practice draw. Okay, she's in position now, and Gregor Ewan holding the broom, and then they're in that contemplative pose before every shot. And Stone is underway. Okay.
That's looking like nice weight.
It is again. She throws a bit more handle than the other throwers, so her spinners just tend to go just a little bit farther. She'll be touching the 12-foot. If I were throwing a takeout, if he gets the nose, he won't be in. So you can throw a pretty good weight and be pretty sure that he won't be hanging around afterwards. But if he makes that decision to take one, as we talked, John, he may very well be making that decision as we speak. I hope he can't hear us, because I'd hate later on to have him say, you know, you were wrong about that decision.
Well, I'm not a good lip reader, and my lip reading of Russian is even worse.
Yeah, if I were to read lips, it wouldn't be Russian. I'm so envious of the multilingual talents of many of these teams. Okay, Skip Smirnoff in position, and
looks like he's got the broom about a full rock off of the stone, half a rock off the stone. So,
yeah.
Well, depending on the weight he throws here, that'll give us an indication whether he wants to roll off.
It's true. Notice he has the officer's hat on, with the golden braid across the visor.
The scrambled eggs?
The scrambled eggs, you're right. Okay, he's going to get most of this stone right on the nose. I can't tell you from here yet. Okay.
The indication is blank.
The indication is blank, and the hit game continues. It's at the end of 4 ends, Scotland leading 1-0. And again, Russia retaining the hammer. We may very well see one of those oh my gosh finishes in this game, where one little bobble decides the whole game. Again, the excitement of the gold medal game of the 8th annual U.S. Open International Wheelchair Curling Bonspiel being held here on the beautiful ice at Utica Curling Club.
Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Sitting next to me is the coach of the Russian team, and he's been actually doing the shot percentages. So it's Anton, you said?
Yes.
Anton, welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's run through the percentages halfway through the game. So we'll start with Team Scotland first. You have the lead at, let me see, at 62.5%. The second is shooting at 53.1%. The vice is shooting at 93.8%. And the skip is shooting at 87.5%. So we'll go to Team Russia now. The lead is that's the lead, right, Anton? The lead is at 81.2%. The second at 56.2%. The third at 62.5%, and the skip at 59.4%. So thank you very much for that information.
You're welcome. You can just ask Scottish coach for the percentage.
Okay. Is that about?
I got their team right on, but he's way off.
Now, at this point, I guess we have to get into a debate about the scoring methods, and I've always struggled with scoring methodology. Typically, the 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, David, I could tell you that I take any of those 60% shooters on my my league team.
They could throw last rocks on my team anytime. But it is the coach's job to be very, very precise, not only in rating the shot, but somewhat rating what the shot should have been. Not enough to make a hit. If it's a nose hit, it better be a nose hit. If you're expecting a 12-inch roll, it better be a 12-inch roll. I know that I've thrown many a -1 shot in my life, and it seems like the skips playing against me throw 5s. So that scoring can be tough.
And the picks always go against you, don't they, David?
Always. You know what they say in curling, I'd rather be lucky than good. Okay, well, we have a blue stone sitting
just outside the house.
Just outside the house, partially covering the center line. A beautiful guard. So it looks like Scotland has made a decision here to put some stones in play. Daring the Russian skip to draw to the wings and play that that end we all like to see when there's just stones all over the house.
So now it'll be interesting to see, does Scotland bring play into the rings, utilizing that center line guard, or cover up the front and take advantage of the free guard rule and put another rock outside the house?
Okay, well, giving credit to your strategic decision, a little while ago, John. Scotland may have made the decision to put rocks in play here because the 6th end is the next end, and they may want to force Team Russia into a situation to take 1 point so that they can control the 6th, and if things go correctly, the 6th and the 8th end.
Now with this broom, David, it looks like they might actually be calling for a raise.
Could be. Now we have Gregor Ewan holding the broom down there, so a little difference in the decision-making process. He has called an in-turn draw, and as John pointed out, broom tight enough that we could be getting a raise or a split. We're definitely not going to have 2 guards in front when we're done. Okay, we have 2 Scottish stones now in the 12-foot, one at the 5:30 position, one at the 7 o'clock position. So, okay, and Skip Smirnoff immediately signaling for a takeout, probably looking for a roll. While there are stones in play, my first assessment of a multi-stone end has just gone down.
Yeah, no double available here.
No double available here. Romanov's stone is underway. Probably going to hit nose. And
well, they're getting a nice roll, a little more undercover.
Beautiful roll.
Just not enough to get undercover, but shot stone.
Okay, shot stone next to the Scottish fighter at the 7 o'clock position. So, we had a little discussion between Gregor Ewan and Eileen Nielsen. Eileen has called for an out turn inside, well, like we would say, an inside-out takeout, putting the broom pretty tight to the edge of the stone. Boy, all the options here are good for Scotland. A nose hit sits there a little wide of nose hit, rolls across the house, a little tight of nose hit, and they have 2 biters. So, all good options. Okay, Rob McPherson settling in to get ready to throw. Tom Killen bracing his wheels from behind, and stone is underway. He may have directed it out a touch, John. He's definitely going to make the hit, but I don't know if that stone's staying around.
Well, they might remove their own from play too.
And they do, and squirt all 3 stones out of the house. Again, classic play. Any second would love to have thrown that shot. Scott Pfeiffer.
Sure.
Randy Furby's team. Kennedy from Kevin Martin's team. All the big hitters. Brett Lang from Glenn Howard's team. Those seconds, those big hitters would have loved to have thrown that shot. It was just classic. Okay, we see a little bit of a aggressive call here from
trying to bring that corner guard into play.
Going to get that corner guard into play. They have a corner guard guarding the 4 o'clock position, and he's asking Svetlana to deliver a draw to get behind, or at least partially behind that. So they keep chasing shot rock and leave his guard alone.
When you really see that pendulum motion you're talking about, David,
Isn't it beautiful?
No elbow in this shot at all.
Isn't it beautiful? Watch how smooth the stone is released. Beautifully
and she reset herself nicely there. I don't know if you noticed, David, but on one of her practice drawbacks, she just came into contact with her chair, took a second to reset herself, and took a couple more practice swings.
Right. The stone is on line to get behind, at least partially behind that guard. Stopping in the back 8. Just, I'll correct that. I'll recalibrate that call. Stopping on the tee line. Not hidden, but in a nice position. Certainly if Scotland hits this one right on the nose, it gives Russia the opportunity to hit and roll behind that guard. Sooner or later, somebody is going to get a stone in behind a guard somewhere. These two teams pretty much even with a couple misses last end, just playing with just awesome precision. Okay, Rob McPherson's second stone underway. Needs to curl a bit to stay in play, but is definitely going to take the shot stone out. I believe rolling out himself, though. Okay. Svetlana now getting ready to deliver her second stone. Again, the unsung heroes out there, local Utica Curling Club member positioning those, cleaning and positioning every stone. And you don't even notice that she does it, but every time somebody gets in a position, the stone is there and ready to go.
I had an opportunity to speak to Tony Zumak, the coach for Team Scotland, and talking about what an aggressive schedule this team plays in terms of their travel. If they're not traveling, they're at their high-performance camp, going through 3- and 4-day practice sessions in preparation for the Sochi Olympics. And these are all full-time curlers. When we were asking about hometowns and so on, there are no home clubs here. These are members of the high-performance team, and they do their practice at Sterling, and that's what they do is curl.
Well, I don't know if I'm envious or not. I'd like to have that kind of time in my life, but I think if I curled every day, I'd... Oh, Svetlana has thrown a nice draw here. If it has house weight and it gets to the house, nicely thrown. Stone is about 7/8 open. Now we're just not seeing that curl, John.
It looked like at one point in time that it might come into contact with the guard, and then almost looked like the stone backed up a little bit, David.
Well, don't blame the sweepers.
Yeah, they didn't pull that one
They
out.
didn't pull that one back. And it didn't jump either. You know, it's funny how these stones track so true.
It is a nice gradual curl. We're not seeing any sharp breaks.
No.
Ice very readable for both skips.
That's right.
No, we haven't seen, at least I haven't noticed any spots in the ice that are acting significantly differently than other spots.
I agree, and the precision is almost nail-bitingly tense because you know, you a little flick here or a little roll there with the delivery, and you may end up with a missed rock. And at this level of play, that's not what they want. Okay. Gregor Ewan's stone is underway. He's going to make contact with shot rock and again roll across the house, removing shot rock and the shooter. Again, giving Skip Smirnoff an opportunity. But I don't know how much tighter he can call this shot.
Well, you really can't.
I wouldn't, because if the first rule of come around is come around, you know. So let's see what he gets here.
But the way Svetlana's stone was starting to curl a little bit the other end, you know, there's still an opportunity to hide here.
All right, Shevchenko is ready to rock and roll, as we say. Stone underway. He started it out a little wide, but if the weight is right, that stone is definitely going to be in play.
Quite a bit of flare with the follow-through. Not sure if that's an indication of more weight or not.
Don't know. They may very well have just made a decision to... okay, he's going to stop biting the back 12. You know, that's not a bad shot. You think about what's going on here, and that is not a bad shot. Because if they were to hit that and sit there, well, now you have a stone to lean against with your next draw. It's time to get the two in play here. You know, you keep leading the horse around by the nose. Time to get in the saddle. Okay.
And this is very tight ice for the takeout.
Yeah. Evidently, they're not seeing much curl there, and she's pretty much put the broom where she wants to hit. Okay, and Gregor Ewan's stone underway, and it's looking mighty good from where I'm sitting. There's that little bit of a back off you were talking about, John. You call that perfectly. And Gregor's stone sits in the back. So now it's decision time for Skip Smirnoff. What do you do, John?
Based on what they've been doing so far, David, I'm looking for the rollout.
There you go.
I think they're really going to want to take play to the 6th then.
I think you're absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. And
they might be happy to just keep this as a 1-point game until the final end.
And well, that's true, because if you do that, Team Scotland is going to have to go for broke on the steal, which will put some stones in play.
Changing the turn here.
Okay, and we are going to see contact. Stone still running fairly straight. A little bit of contact. And, ooh, unfortunately, just rolling out the back. So now advantage Scotland. I believe probably will be peeling that guard and making Russia really work hard to try to generate any points.
A little ice maintenance going on.
Okay. So Eileen Nielsen has handed off her hand warmer and taking control of the delivery stick. And they are calling what we would say is negative ice here if they're throwing an out turn. And wanting to clear that guard and not taking a chance of sticking it to the Russia stone and just off the rings into back 12. Okay, Skip Nielsen in position again.
Do have to be aware of the jam possibilities in the back. There's a jam on that back stone just might bite the back of the house.
Absolutely. Okay, now she has thrown a quiet weight takeout, an intern takeout. She's going to sit for a guard here, John. And that jam might just happen. No, it's going to just clear. Ooh, just clear. What gives the Russian skip the opportunity to practice that corner draw again. And
we've seen it thrown many times this end, David, and just not enough finish to get all the way under that corner guard.
Right, but the guard left by Team Scotland is a bit farther out in the wings, so to speak.
And one stone higher up.
And one stone higher up. And, you know, even if they rub that and rub into the rings, there'll be a counter. You know, it's always an opportunity. Again, Doug Smith, John Jacon, Dave Palazzoli, trying to bring you the flavor of the gold medal game. The 8th Annual U.S. Open International Wheelchair Curling Bonspiel here at beautiful Utica Curling Club in Utica, New York. We have all 6 sheets going, all 12 teams out on the ice, and some very good curling.
We were talking earlier about some of the modifications the club has made here, adding a ramp to the end of our facility, which really makes it a lot easier for these athletes to gain access to the ice without having to come directly from the outside through the compressor room or to try and negotiate any stairs here.
That's correct, and a wise decision made by the Utica Curling Club management to install a wide ramp. We can get, now you remember there's 6 sheets out here, 8 curlers per sheet, so that's 48 curlers. We can get 48 curlers down there in less than 5 minutes. Shot underway from Skip Smirnoff. He's going to make contact with the...
And not the draw, David. He's clearing this off.
Just clearing it off and content to play a blank end, I guess. Having what I was saying about the ramp is the decision-making process they looked at was installing a lift. But if, you know, you think about 48 curlers, if each cycle of the lift took 1 minute, it would take almost an hour to get all 48 people out on the ice. So I think they made a very, very wise decision. John, I kind of think you were on the board when that was going on, too.
I was. It was a number of years ago, and through some good fundraising efforts and help from other organizations in the community, it was something that we were able to make a reality. And it really helps us in hosting events of this size and this caliber of play.
So any of you clubs that are thinking about, should we put in a ramp or should we put in a lift? I mean, really think of the cycle time of the lift and you'll realize the ramp is the way to go. I have noticed some of the curlers building an alarming amount of speed going down that ramp, though, John. Happily, it was designed correctly with a rest in the middle so that they just don't take one long shoot like a bobsled. Okay, Eileen Nielsen's second shot underway, and she's trying to draw behind the stone left in the guard position by Team Russia.
Well, we know she has draw weight in her hip pocket here.
She has it in her pocket, and there's another teddy bear shot.
Look at that, just sliding past the pin.
Just another beautiful draw. It's going to be tough for Skip Smirnoff to remove this stone and roll out. Certain that's what he is hoping for, and he'll be calling an out turn. He'll be throwing a decent amount of weight. Again, that tension ratcheting up just a little bit because a silent takeout here. While it is just the fifth end, but this game is being played so tightly. He really wants to make sure, A, to get the contact, and then B, to get the rollout. But you know what they say, the most important part of a hit and roll, John?
Is the hit.
Is the hit. Thank you. Okay. Again, he's in his ready position. Stone is underway.
A good delivery.
A little bit of outward motion. The stone needs to curl just about a half an inch to accomplish everything.
Oh my. It's close.
It's going to get just enough, but not quite enough to push that Scottish stone out. Ooh. So here we are, folks. Fifth end just completed. And Scotland has inched forward to a 2-0 lead.
And I would think we'll definitely see a change in strategy out of the Russian team here in this next end.
Oh, we will. And my guess would be the Scottish team is going to be hitting even harder. Okay, Doug, you ready for a scoreboard update? Okay. Sheet 1, we finished 5 ends. Sheet 1 has 2 blanks and 5 ends. But USA number 2 is standing right now 3-0 over Slovakia. Okay, sheet 2. Toronto and Korea number 1. At the end of 4 ends, Toronto is leading 3-2. Moving on over to sheet 4. 4 ends completed, playing the 5th. USA 1 is leading 4-1 over Quebec.
And that's the bronze medal game.
Again,
Just to run through, Dave, these other games. I believe the sheet 1 game is for 11th place. I think there's 11-12 game. Sheet 2 is the 5-6 game. Sheet 5 is the 7-8 game. And sheet 6, I believe, is the 9-10 game.
Okay. And sheet 5. What we have is Bradford 5, Korea number 2 4, and they've completed 5 ends. And again, over on sheet 6, where we always see those tough games, we have Ottawa now moving ahead 4-3 over USA 3 at the end of 4 ends. Okay, here we are already on sheet 3, our gold medal game. Scotland, having scored in the 5th end, is delivering the first stone of the 6th end. Tom Killen, from the looks of it, throwing another one of his masterful. He definitely has house weight. Probably going to just stop in the 12. And as usual, I'm wrong. And he's come up short of the house. Nevertheless, as John pointed out, probably going to see a change in strategy here now. They don't want to play this wide open end here and give Team Russia the opportunity to take 1 or 2 in the 6th. Okay. Marat Romanov in position. And I'll give you an idea of the shot as it progresses. Okay, Team Russia electing to throw a stone to either the guard or counting position behind the guard, having been thrown by Scotland. What they've done is doubled up the guard. Again, high risk, high reward type of decision. Team Scotland will make a decision now to tap up. She may even, in fact, make a decision to take her own guard out and not give Russia the advantage of 2 guards in front of the house. What do you think, Johnny?
Well, she did seem to make a little bit of a clearing indication with her hands there as she was calling the shot.
Okay, well, it's a smart move. You don't want to give the other team 2 guards. And it is a takeout weight throw. If it makes contact, certainly has enough weight to take both stones out.
That's a well-thrown stone.
Okay, and she has done that. She has cleared her own guard, leaving Russia with 1 somewhat centerline guard, a long way from the house. Okay. All right. Russian Skip has already signaled his first indication as he'd like to see a stone top 8 partially buried. I'm sure he would at this point. 6th end, down 2 in the gold medal game. Stone is underway.
Now, David, why come into the house this early in the end with the, even though free guard would now be out of play with this second hammer stone, wouldn't a corner guard and hope for a replacement of that guard with the takeout maybe be a little more aggressive call? Because if you throw the corner guard and then the takeout results in a nose hit and replacement of the guard, then you've got a little more cover to play with.
Right, I see your point. What I wanted to say is Romanov's second shot came up short of the house as well. So Russia's sitting with 2 guards in the center position. McPherson now being asked to remove the longer guard, probably hoping for a clearing shot that'll take all 3 stones out of play. But to answer your question, I like the corner guard call as well. But you know what? She certainly has been calling a nice game. She definitely is getting the long guard out of play. McPherson's stone also rolls out of play. So again, is it too early for Russia to call for a stone in the house, John? Or because that's the signal.
Well, they don't seem to think so. They called it on the last one, and certainly looking to bring play into the house here.
And again, the option here, that stone is probably 18 inches outside the house. About a little rub and roll, and they'll have 2 stones biting, and maybe trying to change their luck here. Okay. Svetlana in position, ready to go. Stone has nice weight. It's
that may make contact with the guard.
That may make contact.
Might get
it'll
that
definitely
rub
we
make
were
contact
talking
with the
about.
guard.
And both stones, no, it doesn't put the guard in, but certainly puts the shooter in. But maintains that guard, which is so important. You know, you just can't score 2 in this at this level of play without a guard. Anything in the house is going to get hit. Okay, Skip Nielsen signaling for a what would look to be an outturn takeout with a little roll towards the center of the house.
And we've seen this outturn takeout run very straight in the other even ends that we've played here.
Okay, stone is underway. It is an out. It is an in-turn takeout. Okay, so we didn't see the handle signal. We just saw the position of the broom, and when the broom is in the middle of the stone, it's kind of hard to decide which handle was called. Okay, and
oh, what a beautiful roll!
Scotland rolls to the top 4 behind cover. So Russia is being forced now to think through a difficult scenario. Eileen Nielsen actually giving an applause sign to Rob McPherson. Very happy with that shot, very happy with the outcome. I would guess if I were scoring that, I would give it a 4+.
I'd say so.
And okay, what we have going on now is Skip Smirnoff asking for, I know it's an in-turn, but I'm not sure exactly.
I believe the run back.
The run back, or if he's just trying to get a stone in position. Okay, we've thrown a soft stone, so.
The other alternative here would have been to come from the other direction and try and play something on the corner of that shot stone.
Right.
In order to bring more rocks into play.
Stone curled just a touch, and it's moving into exactly that shot you were talking about, John. That somewhat corner frozen throw. You know, if I was Skip Nielsen right now, I might be a little worried. These stones are stacked up nicely for Russia. And
yeah, because any type of hit to try and clear off both of the Russian stones is just going to leave that Scottish guard right back in the same place.
Right. And okay, it's time for a little conference here. And as I said, I don't blame her. These stones are in a precarious position and demanding some accurate throwing and some expertise. So Gregor Ewan, Eileen Nielsen talking it over. Straight back, the straight back run back might just jam yellow into blue, and you might end up with 2 yellow stones in the house. So that's not an option, I don't believe, at this level of play. I think taking off the guard might be a good idea. There's a lot going on with 3 stones in play. There's a lot going on this sheet. Okay, Scotland calling a timeout, and Scotland's coach getting ready to go out on the ice. And again, I don't blame him. If you can see how the stones are laying, you know that this is a pretty critical juncture. Okay, let's just give you an update on any scores out there. Again, sheet 1. Okay, sheet 1 through, sheet 4 through 5 ends. Just to give you an idea what's going on. Scoreboard is showing USA 1 has 4 and Quebec has 2. Okay. No, that's okay. USA throwing the blue rocks, and you know, again, that's our bronze medal round, and USA 1's playing a pretty nice game out there against Quebec. But as we've seen this weekend, Quebec, masterful shooters, big weight takeout throwers, making doubles look simple, and so that game is going to go right down to the wire, folks. That bronze medal will be decided when the 8th end is over. And you can write that down, John.
All right.
Okay.
Just trying to read some of the hand signals here from Coach Tony Zumak as he discusses options on this shot for Team Scotland. And it looks like, David, that they might actually be considering throwing an in-turn draw to bring their shot stone even a little more under cover.
Kind of like that call. You talk about a change in strategy. That is about one of the more aggressive calls I've seen all weekend. So,
although it looks like the placement of the broom is really tight to that stone. Oh no, okay, so they're looking to clear.
And you know, a clear is not a bad idea. But as you said, John, if they throw a beautiful clearing shot, they're going to leave their shooter in a guard position. And at this level of play, that's always a dangerous decision.
Well, the advantage for Team Scotland here is that their shot stone is in front of the tee line. If it was behind the tee line, that would be quite a bit of change here and really give Russia the opportunity to play a freeze down onto it, and it would be very difficult to remove.
Now, if this is going to be an up weight throw, we have to make a consideration on the broom because things haven't been curling much with up weight. But it isn't. It's a decent weight, and my guess would be that this stone is going to actually end up in a guard position in the house. Over curling a mite, guarding the center line.
Well, perhaps the plan was to just move that Russian stone over to give cover to the outside of shot rock.
Right. But now Russia has an opportunity to play a soft takeout and move the Scottish stone off the forefoot and sit with 2 counters. I see Skip Smirnoff signaling with a hand motion that he's not looking for a lot of weight here. Okay, and we have our Alexander Shevchenko in his throwing position. You can read the St. Louis on his belt, hit the ball cap he's wearing. So his stone is underway. Got that soft takeout going. He's going to be moving the front guard, and he may, with this weight, move it back, tapping, and tapping the Scottish stone to the back 8. So as we sit now, Russia has shot rock. Scotland has second shot in the back 8 foot, and Russia has the third counter almost buried in the top 8 behind a blue Scottish guard.
Based on the reaction of the Russian team, David, I believe that's what they were looking for.
And if it was perfect. Okay, so we're looking now. Discussion going on again, Team Scotland. They're discussing the final position of the stone they're going to throw. Whatever they throw, it sounds like it's going to be a guard weight or a draw weight stone. John?
Yeah.
Gold medal hanging in the balance in this game, playing the 6th end.
And this is certainly quite a bit of a different end than we've seen
yes.
up till now.
As you anticipated, the 6th end that the Scotland strategy would change. The discussion now, from where we can see, is how are they going to keep Russia from scoring 2? And they really want to keep Russia from scoring 3. So, again, as I said about the Russian team, I've watched them. This is the 7th game I've seen them play this weekend. And they always start out tight, and then in the end, they start making some amazing shots.
A big weight run back here on the Russian stone out of the house could clear 2 Russian stones out. You might actually see that stone that's on the center line back up out of the house, but would still leave a Russian stone in the forefoot and the Scottish stone staying right there. So difficult decision to make here. And we're probably just looking to peel that Russian stone off and try and open play back up to the forefoot here.
Could be. And again, unless the hit's perfect, you also might see a Russian stone jam the blue Scottish stone out in the back 8 and actually nothing change. So
we could be looking at the double peel here, David.
It's not a bad call. Not a bad call. Gregor Ewan certainly can throw the weight needed. Okay, he's getting ready. We're in that lull before the storm. Okay, stone underway. Decent weight. Definitely going to drive the blue Scottish guard in to the Russian guard. No, it just goes by harmlessly, leaving the Russian stone positions intact, but removing the center line guard position by Scotland on the last shot. Now, getting a little dicey for the Scottish team. Russia skip signaling take that Scottish stone out of the back and roll over to counting position in the 12-foot.
And with that rock being a second stone, that will give them two counters.
That brings the 3 in play. If this shooter stays, that brings 3 in play.
This does give Scotland the opportunity to throw the double with their next rock, though, David.
Well, let's see what we get here. Alexander Shevchenko ready to go. And Skip Smirnoff intently staring the line.
And so many times in curling, it's not the shot you make, it's the shot that you leave for your opponent.
This is true. Okay, he's thrown a lightweight takeout.
Perhaps trying to roll under the cover?
Right, and it has to curl a bit to make contact. It's going to make contact. It's going to be a good shot. It moves the Scottish stone into a catching position in the back 12. The shooter, however, doesn't stay, giving Scotland the opportunity for a double takeout. Not an entirely disappointing shot for the Russian third, but that shooter rolling out at this juncture changed the complexion of the end pretty dramatically. Nice weight throw, but just a bit outside. You can't see what I just saw, but the second for USA 1, Jim Joseph, local curler, just came through a port, made a very difficult takeout, leaving the U.S. team sitting 2 in the 6th end against Quebec, well, of course, with 8 stones to play.
Dave, we were talking earlier about folks who are part of our local viewing community who might be interested in trying the sport of curling themselves, that there are a couple of opportunities, the Charity Challenge coming up here at the Utica Curling Club, and then an open house that we'll be running on Sunday, February the 16th, which will give folks an opportunity to come down onto the ice and give the Olympic sport a try for themselves.
Always an exciting idea. Tie that, oh, this is a beautiful beautifully thrown stone coming down. Eileen Nielsen trying to make that double. She's made contact with the first stone, but not the second, and rolls to a biting position halfway between the 8-foot and the 12-foot at the 5 o'clock position.
Unfortunately, not over curling and jamming on her own stone in the back.
Very fortunately. But for Russia, the 2 is still in play. Still in play. And they have one stone just absolutely buried behind a guard. So they have an opportunity here. A solid 2 is in play. And with that catcher in the back, John, 3 is not out of the question. You were just talking about opportunities for new curlers to come and check out this Olympic sport of curling. The other side of that as well is every Friday night, John, a very social night. Any new person can come down and watch what's going on, and any member of the club would be happy to explain to them what's going on out on the ice and the finer points of the game of curling.
It is a nice facility that we've got here. You know, not to pat ourselves on the back, but plenty of viewing area directly behind the glass and alongside one edge. So plenty of opportunities to take in the action here on the ice.
And a pretty darn good restaurant.
Oh, without a doubt.
Without a doubt.
Utica loves their fish fries, and we've got one of the best.
So, okay, back to play on sheet 3. Skip Smirnoff in play, in position, throws first rock, trying to remove that second counter belonging to Scotland and stay in play.
And a delicate shot here, David, because they do want to take it across the face. They want to take play a little bit away from their shot to not leave the crosshouse double, but at the same time being mindful of the jam in the back of the house.
Okay, stone underway. He's throwing a bit of weight. No question that He's going to get a direct nose hit and sit right there. Little motion to the outside. Boy, if you want to say putting Scotland in a tough spot right now. Okay, Skip Nielsen is looking at the double. Okay, we're teasing a bit with the Russian coach. It was a little tough with his scoring by our interpretation, at least. But we wanted to know if he got full credit for that last shot because it was a beauty. And the hand signal from the Russian coach says he indeed agreed that that was a full credit shot. So he gave him an A on that one, folks. He gave him an A. Okay, Gregor Ewan room in position for Eileen Nielsen. She has a straightforward takeout to give Russia an opportunity to score 2, and if she makes just the perfect shot, she could still make it difficult. How's it looking from your end, John?
It's hard to see. Ewan is he's a good blocker. He's a good guard.
Yes, he is. Okay, now her stone is stopped in the 12.
Now, earlier in the game, David, we've seen the Russian skip elect to play the hit here to control the roll rather than to play the cold draw into the house. It'll be interesting to see if that has changed for him.
Well, here is where what I was talking about earlier, John. Eileen Nielsen has thrown draw after draw after draw. Skip Smirnoff hasn't had that opportunity. He may, in fact, not be that confident throwing a draw here, and may elect to make that nose hit for a bite or takeout just because he hasn't had that practice. N7 and 8 still coming up, and you know, I don't recall Skip Smirnoff having thrown one draw.
I'll agree.
So
he's bringing play to that side of the sheet.
Okay, so he's pretty much assured of 1. And a nose or slightly high of nose position with his shot will give him 2.
Yeah, this stone would need to curl dramatically more than any other stone that we've seen curl in order to cross all the way over the face and angle that Scottish stone onto the forefoot.
Oh, okay. Andre in position, ready to throw. Stone is underway. The preliminary signal is that...
Oh, it's a draw.
It is a draw, and it's steaming along. Probably...
That gets the job done.
It gets the job done. But wow.
A little drama on that one.
A little drama on that one as it moves to the back 12, but still outcounts the Scottish stone from our level at least, so I'm waiting for the signal. And both thirds are checking both stones. There's still waiting for the signal. From here it looks like a 2, but I haven't seen a hand signal from anybody yet to signify that the 2 is a correct call. But a little bit of congratulations going on the Russian side, so it looks like it's back to a tie game with 2 ends to play and the hammer going over to Scotland. Okay, now give you an update what's going on the other sheets. We have on sheet 1, after 6 ends, USA number 2 has 3, Slovakia has 2. Okay, sheet number 2. We're all tied up at 3 after 5 ends. Korea number 1 versus Toronto. Sheet 4, our bronze medal game. They're still actively playing the 6th, and USA 1 is leading Quebec 4-2. Sheet number 5 has completed 6 ends, and we have Bradford 6, Korea number 2, 4. Going over to sheet 6, where we always see those tight games being played. USA 3 has 5, Ottawa has 4, and they're playing the 6th end. Oh, welcome back, John.
Well, family was trying to drag me away, David, but who could walk away from a game as exciting as this?
Not me. Not me. My wife has pretty much given up on seeing me this weekend. I've been here the whole weekend, and wouldn't have missed one of these games for the world. Just fun curling at a very high level. Okay, Russia has chosen to throw a stone into the house with their first lead rock, and certainly will dictate play in the house, and
probably try to play for the blank.
Well, is it coming to us? Oh my goodness! Look at that. From here, it looks like it's in, but looking at the monitor, it's probably close, but not in. Beautifully thrown guard. So maybe my prediction was a little bit off. Maybe they are going for the outright steal.
Well, without the hammer, that is what they need to do. Scotland, I think, would really prefer to see the blank end if they're not able to generate a lot of offense here.
Okay, looks like Scotland is, with the position of the broom is telling me they might be playing the tick shot.
I agree.
They certainly don't want to put up a second guard. Okay, Tom Killen's first stone is going to get a pretty sizable chunk of the guard, and probably just push it to the back 8, back 4. Pushes it full 12, back 12.
Okay.
But sits as a center line guard. Always the danger of that tick. Has to be played ever so accurately. And I feel like, having played lead for a number of teams, I feel like the tick is the hardest shot in curling. But I know other people would disagree.
Now, it looks like Russia here, David, is calling for this to be a guard covering the shot stone, even though it's well to the back of the house. Take advantage of the free guard.
Yeah.
And then more rocks to hide around.
More rocks in play, the better. This stone, they're getting a little curl now.
They are.
And
this is going to come into contact with that guard at the top of the house.
It's pretty much going to cover the center line, giving Scotland 2 guards in the front. But, you know, John, that's a gun. Those 2 guards are lined up now that a hit on the first one pushes the second one straight back.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have to be careful positioning a stone in the 4-foot at the barrel of that gun, because easily would be removed with a hit. Okay, and exactly what the Scotland skip is calling here. Looks like she's calling for a tap weight on that front Russia guard, which will propel the Scottish guard straight back into the 4-foot.
And what that does for you is it brings the play into the 4-foot, unloads that gun that David was talking about, and with any kind of angle remaining on the yellow stone, takes away the chance for the run back.
Okay, Tom Killen is ready. Killen, I think that's just the perfect name for a second. But okay, his stone is underway, and he's going to curl a bit across the center of the Russian guard, but it does indeed move the Scottish stone to the T-line corner of the button. A beautiful shot with a beautiful result. Okay, now it's play direct, and play is definitely in the house now.
Russia does have the opportunity for the run back.
Right, but again, now what happens with that opportunity, Johnny, is the run back will cause the shooter to leave the 4-foot wide open. He's calling enough ice for a tap back, but I don't believe that's with what the ice he's calling, that he's looking for full takeout weight. Maybe, just maybe, we're seeing some curl in the ice now.
This is about where we saw the broom for their last shot, which did curl up the center. And with the rock underway, it does look like tap weight. Needs to curl a little bit more. Looks like we could get a little angle raise onto shot stone. Needs to curl just a touch more. So a well-thrown stone just didn't get to the angle that that Russia would have hoped for here. And now Scotland's going to have to throw a guard to cover up this shot rock. Choices here either to throw the guard or throw the takeout and roll into position. And looks like we're gonna be getting the takeout here. Throwing tight ice here, broom tight to the object stone. Throwing the out turn.
Okay, John, I'm back. What did I miss?
Well, we're throwing an out-turn takeout here, hoping to get the roll to provide some cover for shot stone. Looks like a well-thrown stone. Need to get that roll. Not quite enough roll.
Well, I give that shot at least a 3, John.
So now the choices for Team Russia would be to play a little bit of an upweight hit here on the rock that was just thrown, to roll just in front of the shot stone, which is just behind the tee line. The other option here would be to try and play the draw freeze from the other direction.
Okay. I think what we're seeing here, again, not being able to read lips, he's called tight ice. You know, he's even moved in a touch, even more now. So either one of your calls is correct, John. Let's see what kind of weight we get, and we'll get an idea what the stone's going to be. Svetlana in position, ready to throw. Stone is underway.
Quiet takeout weight.
Quiet weight.
Needs to curl just a little more for the roll.
We're going to get a nose hit. Not a bad shot. Giving Scotland, however, an opportunity for a hit with a roll in. And really put some pressure on. A 2 in the 7th would make quite a statement in this game, the way it's being played.
And a little bit of difference in preference here. Scotland electing to stay with the out turn. Russia preferring the in turn for this hit.
And you can see we can see on our monitor clearly the 3 stones in play. And interestingly enough, the Russian stone in the back 12 can act as a catcher on an angle hit on shot rocks. So a little, Russia has to be careful all the way through this end now with that back stone in play. Okay, the out turn takeout has been delivered, and it's curling. It's going to be a good shot. Okay, now what we have sitting is Scotland's shot rock just behind the tee on the button area. We have Russians sitting second shot back 12 at about the 12:30 spot, and Scotland sitting third shot over at the 9 o'clock in the 12-foot ring. Okay, so what is Smirnoff up to here, John? What are you seeing?
Well, I think the call is for the freeze. The Scotland shot rock is just behind the tee line, and a frozen rock here would certainly cause some trouble for Team Scotland.
Sure, just a rock in the right position with that would angle towards shot rock would be an advantage. What we don't want here, if we're Team Russia, what we don't want is a deep stone. Okay, so I think you're correct. I think they're trying to get 2 shot rock.
And now we'll see if we can just generate enough curl.
He is calling. Okay. the trajectory is still on its way out.
Good rotation, though. If the weight's right, this should walk in.
And it's curling in. The question now is, will it come to a stop in front of the Russian stone, Scottish stone? And
boy, gorgeous weight. Another half rock, less ice.
Stone is in a nice position now, and unfortunately a nice position for Scotland as well, because a nose hit or a little flop to the left, and Scotland is almost assured of it too.
Yeah, the flop here is critical because anything nose is going to leave a relatively routine takeout, a double takeout for Russia.
Right. And you know, if the stone is hit correctly, it's also going to take out that counter in the back and leave Scotland sitting 3.
That's true. So we're probably looking for a little quieter weight here. Oh, I don't know.
There we go. I don't know about quiet, but we're definitely looking for a takeout. Okay, Gregor Ewan getting into position. And see how he lets go of this stone, see what happens. Okay, stone's underway.
That's pretty firm.
Pretty firm. It's going to make contact with the Russian stone in the forefoot. Looks like a nose hit. Driving it straight back. And as John said earlier, brings a double in play, but again also brings in play that catcher in the back 12. So
yeah, the angle off of the second shot, and really hard to tell from our angle which of those two stones is shot. I think it's actually the rear stone is the shot stone.
Right.
But the stone that they run back on could well redirect onto the back rock for the jam.
Right, and so the net gain would be one Russian stone in the forefoot. If they make this double, if he throws for the double, he'll probably roll to the outside. I don't know what we're going to see here until I see the velocity of the stone on delivery. But a nose hit won't hurt. A nose hit with a little roll towards the center line would even be better, because that makes the stone unremovable. Scotland would never throw a takeout there with the possibility of jamming out shot rock. So let's see what we get here.
And really no margin to set this one out a little bit wide with the other corner guard.
Not at all. May in fact be throwing a draw to shot rock, John.
That is very quiet weight, David. Or perhaps just trying to push this one to the back 4.
Move that one back.
And have a shot that would be very difficult to remove, but
what a beautiful shot.
Oh, that's a wonderful position for a stone.
Okay, forcing Scotland here, I think, to throw a guard, John.
You can see from the screen, folks, there is no room to push that yellow stone in between the two blue stones.
So, you know, the good news for Scotland is they're still sitting 2. And the good news for Russia is they have a stone that just about impossible to remove and can be tapped.
Well, you know, David, with enough weight, you might be able to take both of those blue stones off of the forefoot. Be willing to give up, sacrifice your rocks that are behind the tee line to take away Russia's opportunity to use them and perhaps drive the yellow through. But that's a tremendous weight shot.
Yeah, and I think conservative play is dictated here, so I'm half guessing that because it's Gregor Ewan's second shot, there's 2 more Scottish stones to play after this.
There are times when you need to sacrifice one of your own rocks.
I think conservative play would be get that stone out of there. But the ice they're calling, I think they're looking for a guard. I think they're looking for a guard.
Well, they are lying too.
So, Scotland right now in one of those good news, bad news situation. So a nicely thrown guard certainly would make this end go in the Scottish direction. Now, what is the direction of Scotland from here, John? I think it's straight east, isn't it?
Well, it depends on whether you're going as the crow flies or the great circle that the airlines use.
There you go. That's true. We might have 7 stops before we get there. Nicely thrown guard, but not enough weight.
And we know from here everything goes through Philadelphia, right, David?
Okay, they're looking at the guard to see if it crossed the line. On your monitor, it doesn't look like it did. They're calling a timeout.
No, that was a hand clap. Good shot.
Well, that was a hand clap?
I believe so, yep.
Okay, then the guard counts.
Good enough.
Wow.
No, Scotland's already used the timeout. I'm not sure if they get 1 or 2 timeouts for these games.
But as I saw her hold her broom up and tap her broom, it looked like the T sign. But you're right, John. That was indeed.
Well, they'd be releasing control of the house anyway, so no reason for them to call a timeout there.
Mm-hmm. You are technically absolutely correct.
So now, David, the draw tap?
Oh, they may be looking for the rub tap. Trying to redirect their shot, their throw.
We haven't really seen a lot of curl here to be able to get down onto that third shot stone.
No, but you know, they go for that rub. What may happen if they miss the rub, they'll go back and take second shot out. But if they make the rub, they could be looking at a terrific position.
And Team Russia elects to use their timeout to discuss the situation.
Yeah. I think Eileen Nielsen appreciates that. She's moving back. She's got her hand warmer on her lap. She's going to get a chance to speak with her coach for a minute.
So 2 ways to play this, David. You could play it as the rub, or you could play it as the angle raise.
Even the third option's okay. If you play it tight and you take that guard off, you force them to throw another nice guard. I know the second guard, if they get to throw another guard, they aren't going to throw it 1 inch across the hog line. You know, having had that practice, they'll recalibrate a little bit. But Russia is not without good options here, John.
Well, even just peeling off that guard that was just thrown, David, and force Scotland into throwing another perfect guard, that might be the easiest play here.
Right. And, you know, that peel, when you look at the position of those stones, that peel is going to be tough. There's an opportunity, many opportunities for the stone being peeled to hit something and end up in the house. Or go right back and smack that Russia's stone in the top 4 and make a lot of damage. So if I were Scotland right now, I'd be hoping that they're going to try that rub. Scotland potential for taking 2 here. They have 2 stones in the 4-foot. Russia has 1 stone in the 4-foot, but not in a scoring position at the present time.
Doug's got the scores up on the other sheets that are in play here, as we've got a little bit of strategy time out here.
Okay, and if we want to run them down, okay. Yeah, you can see it. Sheet 1 is now tied up 3-3. Every game very, very tight, folks. Sheet 2, Korea won 4-3. Sheet 3, as you know, Russia and Scotland 2-2. Sheet 4, USA and Quebec 4-3. Sheet 5 tied at 6. And sheet 6, USA 5, Ottawa 4.
David, they're going to peel the guard.
Okay.
Alexander Shevchenko telling Andre, just be smooth, be steady.
All right, they need about half the stone to get it out of there without creating irreversible harm.
A little bit of a reset here.
And stones behaving beautifully for the Russia team. Okay, now wait a minute. Skip's getting repositioned. Okay, everybody's ready to go.
And that is peel weight.
That's peel weight, and a good peel angle should do exactly what they want, and it does. Good choice there. Good choice, John. Good call.
Well, it's a bit of a reverse of our normal curling psychology, where you've got the hammer, you want to maintain access to the forefoot. And if you're trying to generate the steal, you want to clog up the middle, but with those two Scotland stones biting just behind the tee line, biting the button in the back of the tee line, Russia needs to open the front back up to give them access to their stone, which is in front of the tee line. And if they can maintain, regain control of the front of the house, would put the advantage back in their hands.
All right, and what Scotland doesn't want to do right now is give them a stone they can use. Okay, so Eileen Nielsen getting ready to deliver a guard. And she's had pretty good draw weight the whole game, John, so you would think that this will be a makeable shot for her.
And really, any rock over the hog line, just to the right of the center line, really gets the job done.
And another softly thrown guard, and with some curl, it'll be beautifully positioned.
Coming in nicely.
And
now.
it is curling beautifully. It's in a better position than the first guard.
Needs to curl a little bit more to not leave the hole open on the other side.
And it does.
It does.
Okay. So now if I'm Skip Smirnoff, I might be considering that rub and roll we talked about.
I think you have to now, because with the Scottish guard being that much tighter to the house, there's an even larger opportunity for any kind of peel that you throw here, not only to rub off the backside of Russia's stone and redirect into the house, but also for your shooter to come over the top and take the guard that's on the left-hand side straight back into the forefoot.
Right. And this is the last stone for Russia. And
oh, it is.
Scotland is sitting too, so this stone has to mean something. This can't be a get ready for the next shot. This is the shot.
Well, David, would you ever consider using Scotland's stone to play just a tap-tap and bring your stone onto the button and force them to make some type of really up-weight runoff?
No. I don't have that kind of guts, but, what they're doing here now is equally as difficult. Looks like they're signaling the angle in.
Well, David, as straight as the ice has been running here, there may be an opportunity to draw down onto the second shot stone.
Mm-hmm.
Second shot stone, which would then be shot.
I agree.
They might just get a little bit more of the button there in order to be shot stone.
Okay, again, this is one of those situations, folks, where unfortunately we have to see the weight of the stone being delivered before we can give you an idea of what they've called. My gut reaction fits what you're saying, John. A draw in there, freezing to the front of the second shot would be an excellent shot. Okay.
And nearly impossible to remove.
Here we go. Okay, this is quiet takeout weight. And
angle raise?
Angle raise. And he's got the angle. He's got the angle. I would guess from the monitor right now that
I'm saying 2 blue.
Possibly 2 blue or 1 blue. But of course, Scotland has the last shot. But that might have been just good enough to sit for second shot in a just about removable position. Unremovable position. Wow, what a beautiful shot. Well, what a beautiful result.
Looks like Scotland might be considering the straight run back of their rock that's just to the left of center line. Any little contact with that yellow second stone would result in a score of 3. So the risk reward here is what we're looking at.
Right. And they're talking it over. The Russian coach certainly, the look made me give an idea. He was pretty happy with the result. But, you know, probably wanted the perfect shot. I know I would if I was coaching. So the perfect shot would have been sitting for 1. But right now, what the opportunity is for Scotland is a difficult shot with a large reward. There is a very makeable straight back hit on a Scottish guard, which would take at least one of those yellow stones right out of the forefoot. So we'll have to see what we get here.
The good news on this shot is there's very little chance of actually bringing. There's very little chance of bringing that Russian stone in the top of the forefoot into a scoring position. Not sure what's going on here. The Russian skip is.
I think he put his broom down, thinking it was a measure, not realizing that there's one more stone to be thrown. Oh, okay.
Ah, okay.
Okay, they're measuring. They're measuring. Gutsy call. Scotland saying we have it, and Russians third saying we have it, and they're not throwing the last rock. They're going to measure for 2. Gee, it's hard to tell you from where I am.
Our overhead camera is not lined up, as you can see, exactly over the center. So sometimes difficult for us to tell in these really tight situations exactly what's going on.
I already drew it up. This is 2.
Someone seems to be confident.
So our official scorer is saying that.
So somebody at some point in time has got to pick up the measuring device here, David.
Well, it won't be me. I'll just give you that. Okay, we're on the headset calling for a measure. Interesting. Kind of a surprise to the rest of the Russian team that the Russian third put his broom down. But, you know, we've seen this before. I know in my own curling career, I've elected not to throw my last shot.
Well, the rock handler down there on sheet number 3 is a local club member with plenty of high-level experience and could certainly handle the measuring of this stone.
Now, she skipped at the national level at least twice that I know of, so
yes,
she's familiar with the game. But I wouldn't want to be the person. We should probably send the 2 coaches down to measure. Or not. Okay, we have somebody getting the measuring device in play, and now let's have all the style critique in terms of, is the measuring being done accurately, and is the measuring being done according to protocol?
Well, rule number 1, don't kick either of the stones.
Yes. Yes.
We have seen that happen in play before. And not just at the club level.
Oh, absolutely correct, John. He's setting the pointer against the challenging stone. I believe that if the Russian third called for the measure, that that it would be set against their stone first.
I didn't know that there was that protocol, David.
And they'll be turning in a clockwise motion, which is correct. So I think all the protocols being followed, John. Boy, it's hard to tell from here. It looks like to me it looks like the yellow stone is out counting the blue. But I know to 50% of the people out there, blue looks like it's out counting the yellow. Okay, so we're set. Measure being rotated, and we'll get the ruling momentarily. Okay.
Oh, a second pass.
Yeah, just broke protocol, moved it counterclockwise, and now he's motioning that Russia's stone is the second counter. Scotland scores 1. traditionally, the measuring person would move that stone into full scoring position to remove any doubt as what the decision was. But with a point and the applause of the Russian team, I do believe that that the signal was made. Okay, they have signified that Russia, they've made a mistake. I'm not sure, but they just hung up a point for Russia in the 7th end. So now I'm totally confused. That's the indication from the Scottish team, is that the point for the 7th end should go to Scotland. So they'll be fixing that momentarily.
Scotland team members are noticing the inaccuracy of the scoreboard.
Well,
everyone's agreed.
Okay. Let's see if somebody gets out there to fix the scoreboard. Scottish lead is in position. Erlene Julio cleaning the stone and positioning it. So I believe, with a little bit of manipulation of the scoreboard, that you will see Scotland having a 3-2 lead over Russia going into the 8th end.
And the 7's come off the board.
And the 7 has been removed. Okay.
We'd hate to create an international incident here, David.
I certainly don't want to create it here when in Utica. I can't. I'm looking at the other scoreboards, and I really can't tell you who won on sheet 1 because they've cleared the ice, and the scoreboard indicates a tie. But they haven't posted the 8th end yet.
Well, this is not the Ryder Cup, David. So
no gimmies and dormies and whatever else. Okay, sheet 2, we see that Toronto now leads Korea number 1 5-4. Okay, Slovakia wins on sheet 1 4-3 over USA number 2. Sliding over to the bronze medal game, keeping an update. Some fine shot making in the 7th end, which they haven't posted yet. Still showing USA 1 leading Quebec 7-6. Quebec throwing the red rocks. So if I look, see who positions a stone there, I get an idea who scored in that end. Sheet 5. They're playing the 8th end, and it's tied at 6 after 7. Sheet 6 tied at 5, and they're playing the 7th end.
What great close competition we've had here today.
It always gets tough at the top, John. It always gets tough at the top. Okay, the official scorekeeper is going to be retrieving that 7 from the floor and hanging it in the right spot. Okay. Okay. Give you an update for sheet 4. USA 1 has stolen one and now leads. Okay, and now leads Quebec 5-3. Okay, they've corrected the scoring on sheet 3, as we see now. Scoring is Scotland 3, Russia 2. Russia has the hammer, playing the 8th end. There is a Scottish stone in the house. Russia has elected to throw a guard, and it looks like
playing the tap.
They're playing the tap.
The rock's already in the house, so
right.
Free guard out of play here.
And they've thrown tap weight. If the stone holds line, it's going to be a beautiful tap.
Yeah, just over curling a little bit. If it makes contact, it's going to push it into the open.
And most likely going to end up with 2 Scotland stones in the house, side by side. Okay, Andre, what do you want? Oh, we're going to make one of these Scottish stones go away.
Absolutely.
And try to roll in position behind the lone Russia guard.
Well, right in the pocket here could clear both, David.
Okay. Romanoff in position to throw his second stone with with both Scotland stones in the house, free guard is out of play. He removed both stones. See what we get here. Any kind of a hit would help. Okay, he's definitely thrown takeout weight. Depends on how much curl, what the ultimate result will be, but it looks to me like Scotland is now out of play with one of their two stones and left the Russia hitter in a top 12 biting position. Okay, Eileen Nielsen has signified she wants that stone gone. And let's see what happens here.
Really a tough position for Scotland here, David, because any rock wide touches their own stone, which is in the house, and probably brings the Russian stone into play.
Yeah, you're right. It'll squirt that the Russian guard right into the house.
And not enough roll gives Russia the opportunity to play the double peel.
All right, and I'm sure she's calling tight ice, having read the ice so well all game. Okay, stone is underway.
This is up weight.
This is up weight, and it's going to pretty much, like we say in Utica, on the screws with a very nice nose hit. So we're sitting presently with Scotland in the house, top 12 at the 6 o'clock position, with a guard off to the right of shot rock, and Russia has a guard distance from the house, say about 8 feet from the house, half guarding shot rock.
Could he perhaps be considering a draw around from the other side, David?
I don't know. I know they're discussing it, but it's all Russian to me, John. I will say, looking at the scoreboard, you haven't seen any steals in this game. So I guess if you're going to score in an end, you have to have the hammer. So let's see what the decision they've made. Okay, they're going to take out at least one of those two Scottish stones, possibly calling for the double. You know, hitting the double just right would give them a corner guard, John.
It would.
I kind of miss having Doug in on the play here. He always keeps me calmed down. I get a little excited when I'm watching curling. You know, at this age, you know, strange things excite you. And anyhow, decent takeout weight, certainly full contact weight. Just a little bit of an outside hit will get it done.
It will.
Okay, straight back, sitting now with two guards, two yellow Russia guards in the front, one Scotland stone counting in the top 12. Okay, again, that calling that takeout, and I agree with you, John, that a little bit of an outside hit would be disaster. So, you know, having said that, Rob McPherson in ready position.
At what point in time would you consider bringing a second of your own stones into play to try and force the trade-off for the two, David?
If I were Scotland, I'd be taking this stone out.
Okay.
You'll have three guards in play. If hit and stick, you'll have three guards in play. And you know Eileen has pretty good confidence she can make a draw. This shooter is going to hit the inside, might not stay around. And it doesn't.
Well, inside is the good miss.
Yeah. If I were to miss, as our friend Bill would say, that's the pro side. Now, what does Russia want to do here? What do you do here, John?
Well, control the front of the house is key here.
Right.
Hitting this one and being just off of the rings is not a bad position.
Oh, I agree. I'm thinking to watching some Grand Slam events where they would tap the opponent's stone to the 4-foot, and everybody would be saying that was an excellent shot. It would scare the heck out of me at my level, but getting somebody in the back 4, even with 8 guards up front, doesn't seem to upset the top-level curlers at all. What we're seeing here, I think the danger of trying to take this stone out is just catching the end of it and driving it back to the 4-foot.
They've got about half a rock exposed.
Okay, but calling quite a bit of ice, so let's see what kind of weight we get here. Okay, this is
That's takeout weight.
right.
Needs
to curl. And as of yet, it's still not on the stone. Okay, it slides harmlessly by, leaving Scotland in the top 12.
Now, with the ice as straight as we've seen, there's really not much opportunity to draw under cover here. Do you consider the tap up?
If I'm Scotland without the hammer, I'm playing the tap up because it keeps control of the center of the ice and gets a stone top 8, top 4. If I'm Russia, if this was the Russian shot, I'd be throwing draw weight on the outside of their guard, try to get something into the 4-foot on the outside corner. But
it looks like we are getting the draw tap.
Right. Pretty much calling the same ice that Smirnoff just called for that tap back, or for the takeout. Having, Eileen has now recalibrated her ice read. Gregor Ewan in the hack, in the ready position. And I think you're right. I think what they're looking for here is to have 2 stones in the house. A tap back with a biter in the front, possibly a little bit of a split. USA won a tight game over on sheet 4. We'll keep updated on that.
Weight is nice, but this needs to curl.
And we're not seeing a lot of curl. It's certainly going to be in a nice spot when it's done, though.
Yeah, this is one of those shots where if you had the sweepers, you would have tried to take that as deep as possible in order to get some cover from the that biter up top.
Right. What we're seeing now is Russia having the opportunity to take out the stone just thrown.
Right up in there.
A little flop.
Yeah, the double's really not essential here, David, because the hit and roll on top of shot stone to take out second shot, roll right in front of shot rock gives you an opportunity to control the house and run that stone out virtually anytime you'd like.
It does, and don't forget, this game is being played so well. You really want to try to generate a 2 here. To play the 9th end, there hasn't been a steal all game. To play the 9th end without the hammer would be pretty tall order. So I think the hit with a little bit of a flop is the optimum shot here. Get a stone, keep stones in play in the center of the house, and hopefully have an opportunity with your last shot to score that 2. Okay. Alexander Shevchenko has delivered his stone.
This one's curling nicely.
It is. He may get the front guard. He may just rub the front guard. And he does. Okay.
That needed to curl just a bit more.
Right, and it's still not a bad shot. Presently, we haven't seen what Scotland does next, but Scotland is looking actually to guard. They have 2 biters, and they're guarding a biter. Probably hoping for a tap up with a later stone. Now they're going to have a little conversation.
I think I prefer the raise here, David, and the reason why is because even with the guard here, that second rock, top 8, there's a pretty makeable in-off here on the right-hand side, which would then put the Russian stone under 3 different guards.
I agree. Russia's goal here is to generate 2 and put an end to this game. While 1 will keep the game going, it's going to make winning the game ever so much tougher. How are we looking over there on?
Yep. Quick
Go ahead,
update from
Doug.
sheet 4 in our bronze medal game. Quebec down 2 with the hammer in the last end. Has shot stone currently. Has 1 in play. And there's a blue second rock. Draw coming down is a little short, so it's going to give the opportunity for our Team USA to remove the shot rock and sit 2 in the house.
Okay, thank you. Again, you have a good vantage point from there. I can see half of the house, and the half of the house I see as you're facing it is the right half, so I can't see the fact that there is a Quebec stone in the 12-foot rings.
Okay, so the strategy discussion is over.
Okay, and
with as straight as the ice is running, hard to tell here whether we're playing the tap or we're playing the guard.
my guess is the tap, but we'll know as soon as the stone is released. By the weight on the stone, we'll have a good indication what we're getting. Gregor Ewan again in position, and deciding on his weight, and stone is off. We have tap weight here, and the stone is still on its way out, but we have seen a little curl here.
Starting to come now.
There you go.
More freeze weight than tap weight.
I think you're right, John. Essentially didn't change anything other than somewhat guarded shot rock, which is half in the 8-foot. Now,
so third stones, it's you know, if Team Russia is going to make its move now, might not be a bad time.
might not be a bad time. And that in-off you were talking about a minute ago, John, might be the shot.
And as straight as the ice is running here, David, there might still be the draw, the out-turn draw to the 4-foot to just get by those two Scottish stones to the left of the center line.
Okay, so let's see what we get here, Johnny.
Team Russia has been preferring the hits all game long over the draws.
Okay, and that may or may not get them to the winning end of this gold medal game. But certainly as tightly contested a game as you've ever seen in curling. Score 3-2 after 7 ends. Scotland has the lead. Russia has the hammer. Gold medal hanging in the balance. Okay. Quiet takeout weight on its way. Stone has to hold that line.
Oh, this was just too soft.
Okay, we're going to end up with 2 yellow Russia stones in the front of the house, and
Then closes up that draw port.
closes up the draw port. Eileen Nielsen now is looking at drawing around those guards and making this a very difficult scoring opportunity for the Russia skip, Andrei Smirnov. Right.
Yep, Pat McDonald over on sheet 4 settling in to throw his last skip stone.
Yep, and Quebec is sitting 1 right now. Looks like Pat's going to try to negotiate through a port to remove the stone, and that would win the game for Team USA. Hard for us to tell exactly what the shot call is, but that appears what it is.
Okay, we'll keep you informed on that. Doug will keep you up on that. Eileen Nielsen in position to throw her first stone. I think she'll be drawing into or guarding shot rock. Stone's on his way down, not curling much. How's Pat's shot looking over there, Doug?
It's through the hole.
Coming in, looks like he negotiated the port.
Oh,
tapping
just
the
a
red back, and that
masterful
will be
shot.
a victory for Team USA. Well, actually, no, there's one more stone left, but
There's one more stone left, and a pick with a sit would tie that game up. So I'm not sure that they can get two because there's. Oh, I see what they're looking at. You're looking at a double.
Roll across to the outside one, yeah.
The game's not over, but he made a beautiful. The best Quebec can hope for here is a tie, and I'm sure ties will be played off at this level because the bronze medal, the third place medal, is being contested on that sheet. Okay.
So once again, we're in a position here, David, for I don't know that they can play the hit here. I think they're going to have to play the draw, because by the time you come off of that high guard, I really don't think that there's any hit there. Changing the ice now, taking the other turn. So again, calling for the hit, preferring the hit over the draw again.
The hit will put him in position for one, and then we'll see how they can get two. Okay. Okay, Andrei Smirnov lining the shot up in his usual careful, deliberate fashion. And now resetting a bit.
We've seen him do that a few times this game, David. Not sure if there's trouble with the handle of that stone. Maybe a little bit of sticking on his equipment.
Just probably comfort. And, throwing well off the center line, so there's a little bit of an angle to his arm and to his chair. Okay. Carefully getting ready to deliver this stone. Stone is underway. It has to hold the line. It's definitely going to make contact with something.
It's by the guards.
It is just by the guard. Makes contact. And
Beautiful
rolls to the 4 foot, half covering the button.
The crowd appreciates that one.
Yes, they did. Now, did he leave the Scottish gun loaded, though?
There's a double run back there.
Okay, this double run back would make things change. That's
Oh, it
for
looks
sure.
like the takeout attempt on sheet number 4 came up just short.
Yep.
Right.
To score 1.
So our bronze medalist at the 8th Annual U.S. Open Wheelchair International Bonspiel is Team USA.
Okay, a tough game. It looks like it ended up 5-4. Quebec showing all weekend that they can make every shot, but just coming up just a little inside of where they wanted to be with that last stone. Local curler Jim Joseph out on the ice, playing second for USA 1. And being told not to kiss the Sebastien Boisvert, the second on the other team. So they sufficed with a handshake, and they're moving on.
So that's a team of Patrick McDonald, David Palmer, Jim Joseph, as Dave just mentioned, and Penny Greeley, and also Megan Leno.
Okay.
So congratulations to Team USA.
But remember, these teams see each other all the time. They have developed friendships, and they're all good curlers and fine sports people. Okay, Team Scotland going for that double tap run back. If the shot is made, really puts a crimp in Russia's ability to even score 1.
Line's looking good,
the
David.
The line looks very good. Looks very good. Click, click, bang.
What an outstanding shot.
What an outstanding shot from the Scottish skip. Now we have Scotland sitting almost perfectly buried. There is a port available for the Russian skip to score 1 with a perfect shot. And if they scores that 1, they're going to the 9th end. There are 3 Scottish stones in the house.
Doug, we have enough bandwidth to go for a 9th end?
We certainly do, John. Thanks to the good folks at Time Warner.
Wow. I saw that gun and I said, gee, it was there, but it was not a perfectly easy shot.
Oh, no.
So I really think this is We'll leave it on this shot, because really, is that port negotiable? I mean,
well, the stones are staggered correctly. He has to
let's see, he's just getting that broom in precise location. I don't.
Just a sniff by that first blue stone.